all cameras.
Ready with slow motion and isolated cameras.
Stand by, videotape, and roll tape.
And tape is rolling in less than 5, in 3, 2, 1.
Take tape.
From the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Tonight, it's the Oakland Raiders versus the Houston Oilers. The Raiders, a team going through some very subtle changes and sparked offensively by the American Football Conference's #1 quarterback after the first 3 weeks of play, 10-year veteran Daryle Lamonica. In the Oilers, the Raiders face a team that's being guided by one of the game's future superstars, quarterback Dan Pastorini. Pastorini, now in only his second year, is the AFC's #3 ranked quarterback. And he's of the game's new breed at that critical position. Big, strong, versatile. And ABC's NFL Monday Night Football is brought to you by the Gillette Company, makers of Platinum Plus. We made the first blade, and we're still the first blade. And by Mercury, cars that are built better to ride better. Mercury at the sign of the cat.
Always a fascinating scene, the top of the dome in the Houston Astrodome as we pan down to the gridiron itself, and we're going to have another packed house for a Monday night football game. Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell. Welcome aboard for still, as I said, another Monday night ABC NFL football game, and we hope to have a lively contest tonight for a couple of very pertinent reasons. First, the Oakland Raiders need this game. They must win it to move into a tie with the vastly improved San Diego Chargers and to be but a half game behind the Western Division leading Kansas City Chiefs in the American Football Conference. And, of course, for the Houston Oilers, new hope, a new coach, and a stunning upset a week ago over the New York Jets. A victory for the Oilers tonight. Another upset would move them into a tie with Cleveland and Pittsburgh in the Central Division of the AFC, just a game behind the Cincinnati Bengals, who lead that division. Again, tonight we'll be bringing you at halftime highlights of the big games yesterday and more stunning NFL upsets. But right now, to tell you in detail about the Oilers as only he can with his Texas corn-pone dandy Don Meredith.
I never said anything ugly about you, Howard. The Houston Oilers do have a lot of new things going for them, and new ideas and new hope. You're terrible, Howard. The new coach, I think, is the big thing here in Houston. Bill Peterson, brought in by the owner, Bud Adams, from the neighboring college of Rice, has a new idea, a new philosophy, and he thinks the guys should have fun. Something else is new. It's an entirely new offensive line for Dan Pastorini to work from compared to what it was a year ago. This is Pastorini's second year, and as Frank pointed out, as most everyone knows, he has all the equipment. Pastorini is the key tonight. They beat the Jets last week. They have a tough contest tonight. They lost their first two contests, but people in Houston want a winner. They haven't had one in a long time. In fact, the memory of George Blanda stirs most people here. The last time they were winning when George Blanda was the quarterback. So they're welcoming Blanda back in town, and to tell about the rest of the Oakland Raiders besides George is my friend and yours, Aldous Frank.
Don, good to be back in your state. Don talked about the Houston Oilers, and tonight they play an Oakland Raider team, and as Howard alluded to the fact, they're going to have a tough time in their Western Division. They had a tough time last year. They were 8-4-2 on the year, and while a lot of experts maybe have not picked it up, this team has gone through some very subtle changes. Some of the great names you might remember from that Oakland lineup: Carlton Oakes, Ben Davidson, Dan Connors. Of course, Ben Davidson is hurt, but they will not be in that lineup tonight. As a matter of fact, the front four of the Oakland Raiders averages 24 years of age. They are a team that likes to create opportunities, and they feel that youth maybe is a time now, and so that's the way they seem to be going. They have a fine offensive unit. We spoke of Daryle Lamonica, but they have great receivers, and particularly in their big tight end, number 87, Raymond Chester. He is the man that Darryl LaMonica likes to go to when he gets down close to the goal line. Then there is, of course, Fred Biletnikoff, the All-American who played for the Houston Oilers' new coach, Bill Peterson. And, of course, that was back in Florida State days for Coach Bill Peterson. They are a team, again, that is going to have a tough time in their Western Division, as I mentioned. A tough time because the San Diego Chargers under Harlan Savari is not going to fold this year. They're a good veteran team, and they're going to be there, of course, along with Kansas City. And as Howard also mentioned, the Oakland Raiders must win tonight to stay a half game off the pace of the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you think of the Oakland Raiders, well, you can't help but think of one man, and that would be George Blanda, number 16. He's been playing this game for 23 years. George Bland, who still does the kicking. George Bland is the all-time leading scorer in the National Football League. He has scored over 1,650 points. But more than that, he can still come off the bench at the age of 45 and fill in for Darryl LaMonica when he has to. So we'll be watching for George Blanda tonight. A good game, the Oilers and the Raiders, and we'll be ready for the kickoff right after this message.
Of course you get one button color on Sears 19-inch color TV. But you also get something a lot more important. Come, I'll show you. You get Sears testing for quality. Sears service available nationwide. And most important,
We'll take care of it.
Sears reputation for dependability. With Sears 19-inch color TV, you get a lot more than one button color.
Sooner or later, you're going to try a white owl. And when you do, we gotcha. Maybe we'll get you with a white owl mild, or the flavor, or one of our great shapes. But, we're going to get you. You know we're going to get you. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Valvoline Motor Oil is the choice of men who care the most about cars. The pros. At Indy, on drag strips, and on road race courses. More professional drivers rely on Valvoline than any other brand. You can rely on Valvoline for your car, too. It's the motor oil for the man who really cares about his car. Valvoline, a product of Ashland Oil, a growing worldwide company.
I'm Floyd Little of the Denver Broncos. Here's what's left of some kid who needed someone to love him, someone to talk to. Things just never worked out for Leroy. There are kids like Leroy where you live. They need your help. Write to Volunteer, Washington, D.C., 20013. What we need, money can't buy. We need you. The National Center for Voluntary Action.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service on behalf of the National Football League. In the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, the Oakland Raiders assembling on your right. They won the toss. They'll receive the kick from the Houston Oilers. There they are gathering. Number 88 is Bob Moore, a good backup tight end for Raymond Chester, who's had a few problems, but he is expected to start tonight. And stopping deep, number 28 and number 21. Number 28 just activated is the All-American from the University of Southern California, Clarence Davis. And number 21 is Cliff Branch. Cliff Branch, a 9'3" sprinter who attended high school here in Houston, Worthington High School, and was the first Texas schoolboy to run that 9'300. There's Skip Butler in his second year out of Texas at Arlington. And we're about to get underway. Critical game for these Houston Oilers. They can stay close in their Central Division of the American Football Conference, and perhaps even more so for these gentlemen. Clarence Davis on your left, 28. Branch on your right, 21. They're in that tough Western Division of the American Football Conference, and we're about set to get underway. It'll be a short kick that will be taken by Branch, a hometown hero. And Branch over the 20, upset at the 23-yard line. for the Oakland Raiders will take over 1st and 10. Branch dropped by number 32, Ward Walsh. The quarterback, as we have mentioned, Darryl LaMonica opens. He will have his setbacks. Number 23, Charlie Smith, Marv Hubbard, number 44, the fullback. The receivers are Fred Bolitnikoff, number 25, number 87, the tight end, Raymond Chester, and number 49, the All-American rookie from Villanova, Mike Ciani. Both wide receivers move out to the right. Chester, the tight end, at the bottom of your screen. This is Charlie Smith following Hubbard, and he will just get back to the line of scrimmage. Stopped there by number 29, Ken Houston, the all-pro tight safety for the Houston Oilers.
He may be the best strong safety in football. He holds the all-time record for career interceptions returned for touchdowns, 9. He took 4 back for touchdowns last year, a one-season record. A truly superb player, gifted instincts and speed. We'll be talking about him much of the evening.
And he immediately has put Darryl LaMonica of the Oakland Raiders in passing trouble. The ball at the 21.5-yard line. Both wide receivers, Ciani and Bolitnikoff, go right. Ciani is in the slot. The tight end, Chester, at the bottom of your screen. LaMonica looking, feeling the pressure, fires out for Hubbard. He can't hold on to it. Back there with Ken Houston in that secondary, a young secondary. Willie Alexander was defending against Marv Hubbard. He's the left cornerback, number 19. John Charles, number 25, is the free safety. And Benny Johnson is the right cornerback. He is number 33. And Zeke Moore, number 22, is also available for the Oilers this evening. At the linebackers, well, you haven't heard a lot about him. You'll hear a lot about him tonight. Number 58, Ron Pritchard, is in the middle. Floyd Rice, number 85, is on one side. Number 90, the great George Webster, on the other. Third down, and call it a long 12. The ball at the 21.5-yard line. LaMonica with the slight roll, the moving pocket. Fires complete to Bolitnikoff, over the 40 to the 44-yard line. Down there by number 33, Benny Johnson, but Fred Bolitnikoff, the all-pro, gets the Oakland Raiders out of trouble. 1st and 10, Oakland, just short of the 45-yard line. Mark it at the 44. Look at it again.
You can see it just a wide open in the middle. It was a curl in, Frank. Bolitnikoff came in from that slot position on the outside. The moving pocket that you suggested put him almost directly in front of LaMonica.
Again, both wide receivers, Ciani and Bolitnikoff, go right, and this is Marv Hubbard. Marv Hubbard met and missed at the line of scrimmage by number 85, Floyd Rice, but finally dropped by Leo Brooks, number 73. Brooks, who teams with Tillman at one tackle. Tillman, 78. Pat Holmes, the defensive left end, 79. Elvin Bethea, 65, the defensive right end. 2nd down and 5, a gain of about 5 for Hubbard. The ball now resting at the 49-yard line. Ciani now comes out to the left to be met there by Benny Johnson. Going out to the right, Bolitnikoff, picked up by Willie Alexander. Fake to Hubbard. The ball goes to Charlie Smith, and he'll be very close to the 1st down. Leo Brooks and Mike Tillman. Tillman, 78, in on the stop.
As they bring in the new football, Frank, you'll remember that in their first 2 games against Denver and Miami, the opposition ran very effectively against Houston's defensive front 4. However, the Jets did not do so. And as you suggested earlier, number 58, as they measure here for the 1st down, Ron Pritchard, will be heard of tonight and often. They've moved him to the middle where he truly belongs. As you see, they're short by that much, and he's truly an extraordinary athlete.
This telecast is presented by authority of the Houston Oilers Football Club. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers Football Club and the National Football League is prohibited. Well, you saw how much Darryl LaMonica needs. His setbacks, 44, Marv Hubbard. Oakland's leading rusher of a year ago. Number 23, Charlie Smith. 49, Smith gets the call. He gets the 1st down and almost has the ball torn away as he moves inside Houston's 45-yard line. Ron Pritchard there to make the stop. 1st down, Oakland.
Charlie Smith, the lad from Utah, was, of course, out most of last season, injured, and his return this year is one area of improvement for Oakland. Of course, Al Davis, the managing partner of the Raiders, whom some contend is really the invisible coach, still moans over the loss of Warren Wells, a great wide receiver. But getting Smith back has to be something he's got to be happy about.
And the two fine wide receivers, Siani and Bolitnikov, go right. LaMonica with the play fake. He wants to go deep. Can't find the receiver. Now he's going to have to run. He pulls up. Fires over the arms of Bolitnikov, who is dropped by Kenny Houston.
He was trying to go deep that last play. Frankie had a man he thought was open, but it was good defensive play by the two safeties, Ken Houston and John Charles. They both had him covered inside out, you might say. That was Mike Siani, the guy that he had deep for that last play.
Mike Siani, of course, the #1 pick for the Oakland Raiders, and a great college player at Villanova. 33 touchdowns, and that's only one off an NCAA record. Not too fast, but good moves. Second down and 10, the ball at the 44.5-yard line of the Houston Oilers. We're just underway in the Astrodome in Houston. The Oilers and the Raiders. Here comes Charlie Smith. Out in front is Beeler. Coming up to force the play, Willie Alexander, but Pat Holmes, 79, moved out from his defensive end position to make the stop. Gain of about 2, call it a long 2. The ball now at the 41. Third down, a passing down.
Pat Holmes is the oldest man on the defensive unit. Once one of the most highly regarded defensive linemen in the old American Football League, and even played in Canada before he joined the Oilers. Some feel he's over the hill, but Peterson and his staff still feel he's effective.
The balanced formation now, third and passing. From this formation, LaMonica likes to go to his tight end, Raymond Chester. A moving pocket. Going for Siani, but out of bounds. Defended by number 33, Benny Johnson. LaMonica just had to throw it away.
Benny Johnson, by the way, has been one of the most maligned players on the Houston team. Suddenly last week he became a hero with a game-saving interception against Joe Willie Namath.
All right, and coming on is the grand old man, number 16, George Blanda, who guided these Houston Oilers to an AFL championship back in 1960. Started his football in 1949 with the Chicago Bears. He's done a little linebacker duty and a little bit of everything else. From the 49, and it won't be close. Taken there by number 25, and that would be John Charles. Charles bringing it back out to the 20-yard line. John Bella made the stop on Charles. So Houston will have their first opportunity. Dan Pastorini opens at quarterback, the second-year man out of Santa Clara. Willie Rogers, one setback. He's 34. The rookie from Kentucky State, so effective a week ago against the Jets. Hoyle Granger, the other setback. He's number 30. Charlie Joyner, 18-1 wide receiver. Ken Burrow, 00, the other wide receiver. Alvin Reed, 89, is the tight end. Pastorini on the very first play, and he gives it off this time to Rogers. Rogers looked like he was going to break, but nailed there by Tony Klein, number 85. Tony Klein, the defensive left end. Art Toms, left tackle, and number 80. Otis Sistrunk, the right tackle, number 60. Horace Jones, 82, the right defensive end.
Some of the inside stories on these players and how they're obtained are very interesting. Houston and Denver and the New York Jets are in a scouting combine. The Jets considered drafting Willie Rogers and felt that he wasn't quick enough mentally to suit their purposes. So Willie turned around and handed it to the Jets last week.
And he did. 68 yards rushing against that Jets defensive unit. Number 15, Al Johnson, who shuffles along with Granger and Rogers, bringing the plays in. Bill Peterson, the coach, calls all the offensive plays for the Oilers. Now, out goes Al Johnson, and in comes Willie Rogers. All right, Joyner and Burroughs both move out to the left. Third down at about 6. The ball at the 25-yard line, just short of the 25. Pastorini looking to throw. In and out of the hands of Joyner. And back there defending, as he has for so many years, number 48, Nehemiah Wilson.
The ball was there. Joyner just missed it. You'll see a turn in. Pastorini's one of his main strong points is his ability to rifle that ball. And he had that one right in the hands. Coach Peterson last night said that one of his problems a year ago that caused a lot of his interceptions and on turn-ins like this, he was a little hesitant. He's not hesitant this year.
Okay, Dan Pastorini getting set to punt to Atkinson, 43, Branch 21. High kick. It's a good bounce. Pastorini with a 47-yard average coming into tonight's game gets off a beauty. 53-yard punt. So no score in the early going of the first quarter. The Oakland Raiders and the Houston Oilers, and we'll be back at the Astrodome right after this message.
Why had he sent for me? I had a strange feeling I would soon find out.
Bonsoir, monsieur. Je vous attendais.
Un voyageur?
Oui, Skidle Tacto, c'est pourquoi je vous ai fait venir.
Pourquoi moi?
Parce que vous êtes le plus grand joueur du monde de Skidle.
Ah, merci. J'ai plein Léo. Si c'est combien?
Tout ce que vous voudrez.
Un crayon jaune.
Un crayon jaune, c'est tout?
Disons, une boîte de crayons bleus.
Mais pourquoi demander si peu?
Because I only took 1 year of French in high school. Skittle Tacto by Aurora, where fun is the name of the game.
You could say that thus far, Monday Night Football has brought a little luck to the Raiders. We'll have them later in the year when they go up against the New York Jets. But tonight is the Houston Oilers, and a Houston Oiler team that certainly surprised the New York Jets last week, and surprised, I think, even themselves. The Oilers, 1st and 10. They'll move from their own 22-yard line. This is Darryl LaMonica. The handoff goes to Marv Hubbard. Hubbard over the 25 to the 27, stopped by Elvin Bethea. And number 58, Ron Pritchard. Marv Hubbard, quite a story with this young man. Came up to the Raiders, couldn't make it a couple years ago, went back and led the Atlantic Coast Conference at Hartford in rushing, came back and made it big last year. 2nd down and 3. Ball at the 28-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Hubbard again. Hubbard driving over the 35 to the 36. Bethea there, number 65.
Hubbard is definitely the workhorse of the Oakland backfield. Frank, last year he carried the ball a little over 180 times. His longest run was 20 yards. It tells a couple of things, that he pounds out of short yardage. He's not really a breakaway runner, but he's very consistent. He's the guy they call on to get that necessary yardage when they need it.
And he gets the 1st down at the 36-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. This is Charlie Smith behind the blocking of Marv Hubbard. He moves over the 40 to the 42, and the Raiders consistently grinding out yardage. And again, Ron Pritchard, number 58. 4 years out of Arizona State is Ron Pritchard. We saw him a year ago, Howard, as you recall, as an outside linebacker.
He was the #1 draft choice a few years back when Don Klosterman was the general manager here. Don always intended him to play in the middle. At that time, Garland Boyette was playing in the middle. He's a second stringer now.
Okay, 2nd down and 3. The ball at the 42-yard line of the Raiders. Here comes Charlie Smith breaking to the outside. And Pritchard again makes the stop, but it'll be close to the 1st down. Ken Houston, 29, also coming up. Very close to the 1st down. Don mentioned that Charlie Smith had some injury problems. He broke his arm a couple of years ago, and prior to that, he had gained over 500 yards in every season. And he re-injured that same arm last year. But he's back and healthy. He's not only a good runner, he's a good receiver. All right, we see Bob Moore, number 88, coming in on the short yardage offense for the Oakland Raiders. Out comes Mike Ciani.
Bob Moore is going to be heard from a lot in his career. He's a first-rate athlete. In fact, the Raiders toyed with the idea of making Raymond Chester a running back so they could get more into the lineup and avail themselves of 2 tremendous young talents. They changed their mind, though, because they've got so many good running backs to begin with.
They're both in there now. Bob Moore and Raymond Chester at the bottom of your screen. Third down and about a foot. The ball at the 46-yard line of the Raiders. And here comes Marv Hubbard. He'll have the first down. Met there by the middle of the Houston line. Headed by 65, Elvin Bethea.
As Frank said, he's got the first down. And talking about the possibility of making Raymond Chester a running back, Oakland's got a history of doing that with tight ends, Dandy. You know, they did it with Hewitt Dixon.
Billy Cannon.
Yep.
Right.
Raymond Chester, 6'3" and 225 pounds, and we'll see him very shortly. I am very sure of that. First and 10 for the Raiders at the 42-yard line. Monica firing for Biletnikoff. Willie Alexander up to make the stop, but Biletnikoff finding the big holes in that zone.
He is a cutie. The three of us had dinner with Bill Peterson last night, and we were kidding Bill, the Houston coach. We said nobody in the country can know as much about Biletnikoff as you, Bill. You had him in college. He said, well, I could never believe the catches he made there. And then he proceeded to tell us the freakish way in which he got him at Florida State, because Fred was an Erie high school lad in Erie, Pennsylvania, and somebody wrote a letter about him to the Florida State Physical Education Department.
And now Cliff Branch, number 21, the rookie from Colorado, is in replacing Mike Ciani. This is Charlie Smith breaking tackles, moving inside the 30.
What did the physical education department do?
They brought the letter, since you brought it up so we can finish the story, they brought the letter to Peterson. He said, well, let's take a look at the boy. Let's get some film footage. He said, I looked at the footage of the lad in the high school game, and all he did was score 7 touchdowns in one game. Next thing you know, he was at Florida State.
And 4 years later, signing a contract with Al Davis.
Right on the field. Gator Bowl.
Ball at the 30, second down and 4. Branch out left. This is Charlie Smith. Oh, and a fine tackle, and who could it be but number 29, Kenny Houston, coming up, reading the tight end, blocking down, and up he came to make the tackle, actually behind the line of scrimmage.
That's a good point. How he got there, Frank. He plays defensive safety, and he made the tackle. Actually, he hit him behind the line of scrimmage. And the defensive backs, well, all the defensive people do try to key on certain offensive maneuvers, and the tight end is the man that the strong safety generally keys on. He was blocking down on the defensive end and linebacker, which enabled him to come up in the backfield.
Third down, along 2. The ball at the 28 of the Houston Oilers. The Raiders moving. Monic on 3rd and 2, dropping the pass. Bethea gets it first. And coming in to nail him is Mike Tilleman, but Elvin Bethea really put the pressure on LaMonica. Breaking the block of Art Shell was Elvin Bethea.
Elvin Bethea, number 65. We are peppering you with information tonight about these Houston players because Houston's players, quite frankly, don't get the big publicity that often. They haven't had that many national appearances. But Elvin Bethea is a player of absolute excellence, and everybody in the National Football League knows it. One of the best in the league at his position.
Speaking of excellence, George Blanda tries from the 41-yard line. He'll be close. It's good. 41 yards for, well, the ancient George Blanda, but he's still a kid. So the Oakland Raiders out in front of the Houston Oilers 3-0. We'll be back after this message.
5 of the finest cars in America are the 1973 Continentals. We previewed them for these men and women who last May judged a ride test between the 72 Continental and the other 72 luxury car. These judges all owned the other luxury car. Yet 60 out of 100 of them picked the Continental over their own make of car. Let us show you our 73s as they saw them. Our Lincoln Continental 4-door sedan and coupe, designed for an even more comfortable ride than our 72. Our 73 Lincoln Continental town cars, the sedan, the Newtown coupe. The 1973 Continental Mark IV, newly minted in silver. Introducing the 1973 Continentals. It is a very good year.
Well, how about that? Even in the Astrodome. Don, you got top billing. I can say that.
Well,
home down.
That's a whole group of folks that flew in from Oakland. That's one section of Oakland Raider boosters, and you actually don't see that too often in professional football, but they've got the pom-pom girls down there and a lot of the black and, black and silver, I guess, are their colors. It's got to be 100 or so.
And this is Jerry DePoyster getting ready to kick deep. Number 21, to run it back for the Houston Oilers, is Lindsey Cole. Number 34 is Willie Rogers. This one will, well, it does not go out of bounds. It goes into the end zone. Taken there by Willie Rogers. Touchback Houston. Willie Rogers, the rookie from Kentucky State. NCAA college football continues this Saturday on ABC with 3 telecasts. The majority of the nation will see Texas, Oklahoma, while we'll also be telecasting Arizona, New Mexico, and Citadel and East Carolina, where a good friend of yours and mine, Don, Sonny Randall, is coaching. He has an undefeated team there, as a matter of fact. That's Citadel and East Carolina. You can check your local listings for the time of the game of your area. Dan Pastorini brings up the Houston Oilers. First and 10, they'll move from the 20. Here comes a draw play. Hoyle, Granger with a big hole. To the outside, first down, Granger.
Interesting to see Granger back here in the Astrodome, where he's always been a favorite. They got him out of Mississippi State. He's never had the speed. He's never been much more than a journeyman back. Yet he's always been an outstanding blocker. They traded him to New Orleans. New Orleans cut him. It looked like his career was over. Back here he came, and he's doing a good job blocking. And in a situation like that, while a faster man would have gained more, Hoyle still knew where the hole was and got to it as quickly as possible.
There he is, number 30. Team right now with 34, Willie Rogers. Out to the right, 00 is Ken Barrow. First and 10, the ball at the 33-yard line of the Houston Oilers. This time we go nowhere. Hoyle, Granger stopped there by number 80, Art Toms. Talked about that front four of the Oakland Raiders. Tom's 25 years old. Tony Klein, 84. The left end is 24 years old. Horace Jones, the right end, is only 23 years old. Sistrunk didn't even go to college. Otis Sistrunk, number 60. He's 25 years old.
And he's a great story, which will develop later, Frank, the way the Raiders got him.
All right, second down and 10. The ball at the 33-yard line of the Oilers. They trail the Oakland Raiders 3-0. 2:11 remaining in the first quarter. And action on the right side. Were they drawn off, or did they just jump? Flag is down. Willie Brown, number 24, the great all-pro cornerback, comes in. Obviously, the Raiders were drawn offside. Illegal procedure indicated. Jack Tatum is also in that secondary. He's the free safety. A number 1 pick of a year ago, All-American from Ohio State. He's number 31. We've talked about George Atkinson, number 43. He's the strong safety. Nehemiah Wilson, maybe the smallest cornerback around, at 6 foot and 180 pounds. He's number 48. And they will right now anticipate the passing of Dan Pastorini. Second down and 15, the ball at the 27. Pastorini fires it. Willie Rogers dropped it, and, well, Tatum couldn't hold on to it.
That's a 0-0.
And I point this out. We talked about it a little bit last week, watching young John Reeves of Philadelphia throw. Both of these guys, Reeves, Pastorini, a lot of young quarterbacks, have got good, strong arms. He really rifled that ball. I'm not saying it was not catchable, but the ball was thrown hard. You saw it bounce off the shoulder pad and actually should have been intercepted. One of the things that the young quarterbacks really have to learn is a matter of touch or feel of how hard to throw that ball in the different areas.
Well, that's so hard that Tatum couldn't handle the rebound. Third and 15 out in the 28. The ball will go in the air again. Burrows out left, Joyner to the right. And off the mark. The mark was number 89, Alvin Reed. Bill Peterson on the sidelines will now have to put his punting unit back into the ball game.
Dan is not yet throwing well tonight, Dandy. It's evident. He's got great receivers. The problem with the pass to Joyner earlier that Charlie missed was the fact that it was thrown too hard, too, in my opinion. Charlie Joyner, in the opinion of most, has the capacity to be another Paul Warfield. Alvin Reed is a fine tight end. And, of course, Kenny Burrow, 00, has come into his own here with Houston.
On your left, George Atkinson, 43-21, the rookie Cliff Branch. Great speed and almost blocked. Pastorini had to hurry. Fair catch. Atkinson bobbles the ball. I believe it was picked off in the air by Willie Rogers.
He's got it.
There goes Willie. It's Mark. Mark back at the 42-yard line.
Well, maybe some of the guys in that scouting combine didn't find Willie bright enough, but Willie was right there then.
Well, the referee's saying bring it back. We can be assured of a couple of things.
I want to get a close look at this reasoning, Frank. We've seen a number of things happening this year.
What they're saying is he cannot advance it in the air.
Oakland's always involved in some kind of decision or other, and Al Davis is always one of the biggest complainers about officials. He's the guy who got the break on the Jack Tatum 104-yard run that Mark Duncan of the league office later admitted the officials had blown, and that was the play that gave Oakland its victory over Green Bay.
We've got to get an official ruling on this one because I don't understand that either.
I don't.
1st and 10, the Oilers. Pastorini screen, fakes one way, comes back the other way. Granger to the 25. Stopped there by number 60, Otis Sistrunk.
All right, we'll take a look at this. Is the punt from a while ago. You see a fair catch. It hits. He catches it in the air. Now, I don't know the rule on that. I'll just be really honest.
I'll be very honest, I don't either.
It looked like to me he ought to be able to run with it. It's a fumble that you catch in the air, but evidently it has something to do with the fair catch.
All right, we will get you the official ruling. The ball now, 1st and 10 for the Oilers. They're at the 25-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. They trail 3-0. Time running out of the first quarter. Comes Willie Rogers. Met there by Nehemiah Wilson. Gain of about 3 yards for Willie Rogers.
This Houston team is not uninteresting. They're a decided underdog. They figure to be. They don't figure to win this game. But they've got interesting spots of strength. As we've pointed out, they've got excellent linebacking strength. We'll be talking later about a youngster named Floyd Rice at the corner who has a chance to become a superstar. Good defensive secondary and certain offensive values, especially in the receivers we've discussed in young Pastorini.
2nd down, a long 7, the ball at the 23-yard line. Pastorini back, looking to his tight end, Alvin Reed, and in and out of the hands. And Pastorini is not settled down yet. The Oilers are a team, though, that is not a first-quarter team that we'll talk about in a moment. Let's look at it again. Atkinson, the Oilers giving him room to handle the ball, and that's all is required on a fair catch. Now, Willie Rogers taking it in the air and return the ball all the way to the 25-yard line, where right now it's 3rd down, 7 yards. Out to the left goes Kenny Burroughs, picked up there by Willie Brown. On the right side, Alvin Reed, the tight end, in this passing situation. Both backs circling out. And just in and out of the hands of George Atkinson, and believe me, Granger was really lassoed as he came around the end.
Alvin Reed is really putting on a storm here. Watch number 89. He complained to the officials to no avail. Look at that.
That's what you call an infraction.
I don't blame him for complaining.
You know the ruling on that, don't you, Don?
Yeah, I do. That's an infraction. That's what you call that one. They missed one.
Well, they can't see everything. Skip Butler on for the placement. He'll kick from about the 28.5-yard line, and let's get the official call here. The legal procedure, the Houston Oilers. So that will lengthen the field goal attempt of Skip Butler.
Let's watch the Skip Butler kick very closely, Don. He kicked 4 against the Jets. There had always been a rap against him on his field goal kicking, that he kicked too low, that he was too easy to block against. Jim didn't find that true last week, Giff.
All right, Kent Nix to hold. The ball now at the 33.5-yard mark. And again, an Oakland Raider, I believe, crosses the line of scrimmage this time. And while they figure this one out, we will tell you the official rule. You cannot advance a fumble punt in the air or on the ground. It's called a muff, as a matter of fact.
Huh. Why is that different, I wonder, from just a fumble from the line of scrimmage? Just need another rule for that one, huh? It's just because it's a punt, Frank? Is that what it is?
A punt, and when it's fumble, it's called a muff. You cannot advance.
Hard to advance those muffs.
Let's don't get into section A, B, and C of it.
Okay. Well, we got some more mixed up down here. Let's see what else is happening. He's waving at us. Somebody didn't take something. I guarantee whatever that one was, they didn't handle it.
I think the legal procedure ruled against both ball clubs, but
yeah, let's call it that.
I can guarantee you the arms of referee Bob Frederick are exhausted.
Let's look at the coaches. Here we go again. One more time.
Now they got it worked out.
It's fourth down. I caught that.
All right. We'll set it for you again. Fourth down. The ball at the 21.5-yard mark. Skip Butler is on for the field goal attempt. The third attempt, that is. Kent Nix, the backup quarterback, to do the holding. A fake. Kent Nix is a quarterback. That pass is incomplete.
Well, that'll produce some interesting repercussions here.
It certainly fooled not one Oakland Raider. So the Raiders stay out in front 3-0. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, Hank. Shaving close for your big close-up, huh?
Yep.
Well, don't cut yourself.
Sam, I don't have to cut myself to shave close. This is the Track 2, the two-bladed razor from Gillette. The blades are recessed, so it's safer.
Recessed? Then how come it shaves so close?
Because when the first blade shaves your whisker, it stretches it out from the skin. And before it can snap all the way back, the second blade can shave it again, closer.
What if I went back again with my one-blade razor?
The whisker snaps back too fast.
Gee, that's a great shave.
And that's not even my good side.
The Gillette Track 2, the two-bladed razor.
Ron Mize, Wethead. Ron Mize, the dry look. Jeff Edmond, Wethead. Jeff Edmond, the dry look.
Have you tried the dry look? The aerosol hair control from Gillette. It's turned a lot of heads.
So a fake field goal attempt by the Houston Oilers goes awry. They trail the Oakland Raiders with 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter, 3-0. Oakland, first and 10. They'll move from their own 21-yard line. Darryl LaMonica all the way as the quarterback. Looking for Ciani, and it's deflected, knocked away. Number 78, Big Mike Tilleman in there, along with Elvin Bethea.
Going back to that fake field goal attempt, Frank, Bill Peterson, you may not agree with that call. I personally don't. But you've got to give him credit for a lot of guts. He's desperate to make good here. He had a sinecure job at Rice University, a long-term contract. He was always a gambler at Florida State. He played the pro-style offense there. And he knows that he risks immediate disfavor with these fans who so want a winner when he makes a call like that and it doesn't work.
And he's also aware, in 12 years, the Oilers have had 6 coaches. Second and 10. In and out of the hands of Charlie Smith.
Actually, Giff, in 12 years, there have been 8. Lou Rimkus, Wally Lem, Sammy Baugh, Bones Taylor, Frank Ivy, Wally Lem again, your friend, the old giant Ed Hughes, and now Bill Peterson. And I guess you could, well, it depends on how you treat Lem in his 2 tenures. You could treat with him as another Grover Cleveland, serving 2 separate terms and count him twice, or just count him once. I'll leave it to so great a historian as Dandy Dunn to determine.
Well, I will count him twice.
Well, the bottom line is it's a little hazardous here. Third down and 10. The ball at the 21-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. The setbacks, Charlie Smith, 23, Marv Hubbard, 44. Shanny left, Bolitnikoff right. Flags go down. Illegal procedure as we have a very excited official pointing at one of the Oakland Raiders.
It's an attempt to justify our existence. Everybody has to be somewhere.
It'll be marched off against Oakland, the illegal procedure, 3rd down and 15. Ball resting just over the 19-yard line now.
Well, as the first quarter is about to expire, the Raiders have hardly been impressive.
Hardly.
They lead 3-0 as Darryl Lamonica puts Ciani out to the left, picked up there by Benny Johnson. Out to the right goes Biletnikoff, the man he's been going to. The fake draw. He can run, but he's in trouble. In and out of the hands of Ciani. And it could be that he might have heard number 33, Benny Johnson, bearing down.
LaMonica is a hardball thrower, too. We talked about Pastorini earlier, but that was one of the routes that was laid on him before.
That's the end of the first quarter. The Raiders out in front on a 46-yard George Blanda field goal, 3-0. We'll be back after this message.
To get the riding comfort of a big luxury car like this one, but in a smaller, easy-to-handle size, you'd have to redesign it yourself. Not anymore. Now Lincoln Mercury's done it for you. Mercury Montego MX Brougham. About a foot trimmer than most big cars. A personal-size car with the ride of a big car. Mercury Montego. Built better to ride better. At the sign of the cat.
I'm Joe Namath, and there's nothing I enjoy more than hot buttered popcorn. And nothing makes better hot buttered popcorn than the Hamilton Beach Butter Up Popper. It's the original automatic self-buttering popper. You just put the butter here, and you get the greatest hot buttered popcorn you ever tasted. And that's not all. You can get one of my autographed footballs, too. Get the details of this special offer at your store.
Just tell him Joe sent you.
The Butter Up Popper from the Hamilton Beach Scoville World of Appliances.
I'm Ron Billingsley of the Houston Oilers. You know, I got to work pretty hard to make the headlines. But for some kids, it's easy. We know lots of kids that can still use your help. Before it's too late, write to volunteer. Washington, D.C., 20013. What we need, money can't buy. We need you, the National Center for Voluntary Action.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service on behalf of the National Football League. Jerry DePoyster to punt for Oakland. The single safety for Houston is Ken Houston. Oh, and the rush, and it's blocked, but a flag is down. Houston blocks the punt, but a flag is down. The flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Number 91, Greg Sampson, was in to recover the fumble, but let's wait and see. Holding against Oakland, Houston ball.
All right, we'll take a look at it. Several guys got in on that one. That's 32, it looks to me. Ward Walsh, 32, Ward Walsh. They had the all-out rush on. 91 picked it up. Sampson, he could have picked that thing up and gone in now, could he, Frank? That's a block punt.
That he could have.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But he didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
He's just happy to have it. The rookie from Stanford. The Oilers in great field position at the 2-yard line. First and goal. Pastorini gives the ball, or rather fakes the ball to Rogers. He wants to run himself. He goes nowhere. Phil Filippiano.
He had Burroughs in the corner with nobody within 5-7 yards from him.
You're absolutely right, but he's a youngster who likes to run with the ball, as everybody knows. In fact, he reminds many of Bob Waterfield in his build, in his style, and everything he does, including the fact that he's a fine punter, as we've already discussed, and an excellent place kicker.
Look back in the back of that end zone.
0-0, all alone, screaming for it. Look at no hope, Kenny. He wasn't going to give the ball away.
Coach
Bill Peterson's not happy about that either, Giff.
Okay, I know how the receiver feels. Pastorini brings him up. Second down now. Sets the same formation opposite. This time again with the fake draw. And in trouble, and he's dumped. Coming in there hard was number 34, the old pro, Gus Otto, and he made the play on one side. On first down, it was Phil Villapiano, number 41, who made the play against Pastorini.
What a vivid evidence on 2 consecutive plays of the problems of young quarterbacks suffering from inexperience. In his whole career, Dandy Don Meredith was guilty of that so often.
Hey, an old quarterback would have had a problem getting away from Gus Otto.
Thank you, Frank. You're a nice man, Frank. Howard.
Ken Burrow goes out to the right. Pastorini will have to put the ball in the air. Burrow has the wide side of the field. Charlie Joyner is on the left side. Going for Joyner. It'll be out of play. Pastorini, well, upset. He did, as you saw, have Ken Burrow wide open in the end zone. Now they're going to have to settle for the field goal attempt.
And the fans register their disapproval vocally.
Fourth down, the ball at the 17-yard line. Skip Butler will be kicking from the 29. And this is blocked.
That's the block I talked about, the wrap against him.
Number 48 comes up with the football, Nehemiah Wilson.
Take a look at it. Was it low? It was a little low, but there's also a pretty good break in that line up there. They came up in the middle, so they didn't get a good block up the front.
All right, some weird happenings, but the Oakland Raiders lead 3-0. We'll be back after this message.
Whereas the party of the first part having elected to go and you need more than words. You need more than a pen. You need flair. Flair writes feeling. Flair writes ideas. Flair writes colors. Flair writes music. Flair writes emotion. Flair even writes pictures. Man does not live by words alone. Man needs flair. In 12 very human colors.
No matter whose steel-belted radio commercial you see, there'll probably be a demonstration of superior handling characteristics. They'll tell you how steel-belted radials make so great a difference you can actually feel it. Feel how they hug the road on sharp turns and at high speeds. So with everybody telling you similar things, which brand you buy? Well, only Uniroyal can tell you this. Worldwide, we've been selling steel-belted radials 10 years longer than any other American tire company.
A few moments ago, this field goal attempt by Skip Butler was blocked. Coming up in the middle was big number 80 for the Oakland Raiders. That would be Art Toms, the defensive tackle. So Oakland takes over. 1st and 10. They'll move from their 5-yard line. They've gained 75 yards. The Oilers have gained 24. Darryl Lamonic at quarterback. Bolitnikov is to the right. This is Marv Hubbard. Hubbard moving across the left side behind a good offensive line. Jim Otto's the center, double O. Number 64, it's George Peeler is the right guard. Gene Upshaw, the left guard, 63. Art Shell, 78, is one tackle, the left tackle. And Bob Brown, 76, perhaps, and many think so, the best offensive tackle, at least in terms of pass blocking there is in football.
Certainly physically, he's the best qualified in all of football to hold off any defensive end.
The ball at the 12. It goes again to Hubbard. Straight wedge blocking up the middle. Will be close to the first down. Leo Brooks, 73. Mike Tillman, 78 to make the stop. 12:45 remains in the first half. The Oakland Raiders have been moving the football, but they, too, have been a bit lifeless. First down, Oakland. Oakland now with 6 first downs. Houston with 2. And big number 77 on the bench. Council Rudolph. All right, from the 16-yard line. Letting both backs to the right. Looking over the middle. Did Chester hold on to it?
I think he got it on first base.
Charlie Smith, coming out of the backfield. And again, Ron Pritchard back there with him.
That ball was just not thrown very well either, Frank. Darrell rolled out a little bit to the right, sent Smith out of the backfield on a quick little turn-in. I guess they're trying to flood zones. Coach Peterson mentioned that he felt that the secondary would get a workout, and on occasions they try to double cover both outside receivers, and he has done that a few times tonight with his halfback and his safety. So it looks like Darrell's trying to work the halfbacks in the middle. He just missed him when he had him open.
The sprinter stance of Bob Brown, the right tackle, on 2nd down and 10.
There you got it.
Ciani. And Ciani will be short of the first down, catching the ball at about the 21, where motion will be called, and the Houston Oilers fans do not like it. LaMonica now 3 of 10. While his counterpart, Pastorini, has completed only 1 pass, and that was a screen pass.
LaMonica has twice consecutively gone to the air, deep in his own territory. He's only 3 of 10. As Don says, he's not been throwing well. And yet, when the Raiders have moved the football, they've done it on the ground and done it with apparent ease. Through the years, Darrell's always faced second-guessing out in the Bay Area for his play selection. And one has to give some second pause to it now.
Right now, 3rd down, less than a yard for the Oakland Raiders. They're at their own 26-yard line. Charlie Smith gets the call. He gets the first down up to the 30-yard line. Mike Tilleman there to make the stop, big number 78. Next week is Drug Abuse Prevention Week. For information on how you can help in this vital national effort, please write to Drug Abuse Prevention Week. That's Box 1904, Rockville, Maryland, zip code 20852. Charlie Smith gets the first down. The Raiders moving from their own 30. A little over 11 minutes remaining in the first half. The Raiders out in front, 3-0. Charlie Smith again. Another Bolitnikoff. Fred Bolitnikoff, and hit by Willie Alexander.
Well, he continues to throw, and right now it's working for him.
He had one-on-one coverage on this side. You saw he did send Smith out of the backfield, which brought Webster, the linebacker, out with him. He curled him back in. You see Bolitnikoff, 25, will come out. He's going to run just a turn-in or a curl. And hopefully right in front of him, as he catches the ball, you'll see that Webster, number 90, the linebacker, been brought out of his position by Smith, who came out of the backfield.
1st and 10 from the 44. Marv Hubbard gets the call. Clarence Davis has checked in as one setback. Cliff Branch is in as a wide receiver. Davis 28, Branch 21. Gain of about 4 yards.
You realize, Frank, that the Raiders are carrying 6 running backs?
That's a lot of running backs.
That's
a lot
unusual.
It is unusual. Hey, I've known Darrell LaMonica for a long time, and he likes to throw the bomb.
Yep.
And he has one of the great speedsters, the top of your screen, Cliff Branch. Right now, he has a 2nd down and 7. Here comes Clarence Davis. Davis over the 50 to the 48-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Run out of bounds by Pritchard.
Davis is the potential breakaway runner that Oakland seems to need. They have not really had an effective breakaway runner, a guy with the speed and enough size to split through the line and outrun the secondary.
Don, you notice those shoulder pads on Davis? Well, he had a fractured bone in his shoulder about 7 weeks ago.
Coaching staff says they feel they can spot play him. They don't feel that he's really regular for continuous play.
3rd down and 2. The Raiders moving now from the Houston Oilers' 48-yard line. Both backs coming out of the backfield. LaMonica rushed. Gets it off to Branch. He drops the football. This is Kenny Houston. Kenny Houston, the all-pro safety, picked up that ball, dropped by Cliff Branch.
Why is this night different from any other night or any other Sunday afternoon? Kenny Houston with a nose for the football. Somehow he's always there.
So the Houston Oilers with good field position, and we'll be back at the Astrodome after this message.
This is the Conway County, Arkansas Volunteer Fire Department. Organized by Metropolitan Life salesman David Brewer. Why didn't Dave just stick to providing life insurance? Because he thought the county also needed a fire department. You'll like doing business with Metropolitan people like Dave Brewer.
Don't know how to thank you, Dave. You and boys like a couple of chickens.
At Metropolitan, we sell life insurance, but our business is life.
Well, Mr. Baxter, how's the new car?
Fine, Gus. Fill it up with low-cost Gulf Tang, will you?
Right. Penny saved is a penny earned, eh, Mr. B?
Wise men say, keep something for a rainy day.
Rainy day.
At 91 octane, Gulf Tang Low Lead is the kind of gasoline that's recommended in most new car manuals, yet it costs even less than our regular. So if you just got a new car, try Gulf Tang. The way things are going these days, every penny counts. Gulf Tang Low Lead, it costs less than our regular.
A few moments ago, LaMonica firing to Cliff Branch. Kenny Houston winds up with the football.
You see Elvin Bethea there put a good rush on Darrell. Branch has the ball, is tackled. It pops up in the air, and as Howard mentioned, Kenny Houston has a nose for the football. He knows where to go.
The Oilers now 1st and 10. They move on the Oakland Raiders 37-yard line. Pastorini splits Charlie Joyner out to the left into the slot. Oil Granger inside the 30. Met there by number 43, George Atkinson.
Combination of two things, I would imagine. Hopefully an improved running game by Houston, but as we pointed out earlier, the defensive front four for the Oakland Raiders, they're young and inexperienced. They're going to make some mistakes. When you see a guy pop through like that, it's one of two things. He either gets a super block by an offensive line, or the defensive man is just overpowered or slightly out of position, possibly made a mistake. That last time, I think they made a mistake, and he ran all the way in, almost picked up the first down.
So about a yard short, and you're looking at Kenny Houston, and Kenny Houston is some football player. Howard alluded to the fact earlier that he holds 2 NFL records. He has returned 9 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. And that broke Herb Adderley and Erich Barnes' mark, who did that last year. They had 7.
Old Erich.
Real opportunist. 2nd down, you saw it about a yard. Willie Rogers giving it a try.
He's got that first down, and Don, you're talking about that young defensive line of John Madden's and Al Davis's. Don't think that hasn't caused sparks out in Oakland and in the Bay Area. Putting it right on the line, sitting on the bench is number 74, Tom Keating, one of the best modern-day defensive tackles, one of the quickest you'd ever want to see. Of course, he's a veteran now, and the Oakland management says he's been beaten out of his job, but his dissatisfaction has been openly expressed.
1st and 10, the Oilers moving on the Oakland Raiders, 27-yard line. Ken Burrow left, Charlie Joyner to the right. Here comes Willie Rogers, heading back, getting over the line of scrimmage, inside the 25 to the 23. Otis Sistrunk, number 60. The Oakland Raiders out in front as a result of a 46-yard field goal by George Blanda.
Otis Sistrunk is a strong young man. Perhaps not quite so strong as Manny, his cousin with the Washington Redskins. He was a free agent. And I said earlier, when time permits, we'll develop the story of how Al Davis got him from Tommy Prothro. It's really funny.
I can hardly wait.
2nd down and 8. Ball at the 24-yard line. Jim Byrne has checked in a one-wide receiver, bringing the play in. Intercepted, Art Toms.
And Art Toms made a fantastic move. He almost made a great move the play before. Penetrating deep into the backfield. Patry had a man open that time, too, Frank. Couldn't get it over Art Toms. Look at those hands he's saying.
He's having quite a night. He blocked that field goal. So Art Toms, one of those youngsters in that defensive front four, has once again helped the Raiders. They lead the Houston Oilers 3-0. We'll be back at the Astrodome after this message.
Last year, in a blindfold test of ride, the medium-priced Mercury Marquis beat out a $34,000 Mercedes limousine. Mercury's ride is hard to improve on, but this new 73 Marquis we think has done it. To find out, 50 professional chauffeurs compared the ride of our completely restyled 73 Marquis blindfolded to the 72, supervised by the Nationwide Consumer Testing Institute. A majority rated this new Mercury's ride superior to the 72.
The 73 was a superior ride than the 72.
I had a greater sense of stability in the 73.
We've refined Mercury's suspension system, and now every big Mercury has steel-belted radial tires, standard.
I was very impressed. It was really a difficult choice, to be very frank.
Both good cars, but I did prefer the 73.
73 Mercury Marquis, the car that beat the car, that beat the $34,000 limousine. Mercury, built better, to ride better. At the sign of the cat.
A lot of weird happenings tonight in the Astrodome. This was one of them that took place a few minutes ago. Dan Pastorini dropping back to pass. Watch number 80. Art Toms, a defensive tackle, laying back, it appears, as if possibly to pick up a screen man. And he gets the interception. Hey, Frank, ABC, and what's... come on.
Languishing in anonymity.
In the cover, but everything but Batman. First and 10 for the Oakland Raiders, moving to the 25-yard line. This is Charlie Smith. Wow, and a lot of Houston Oilers there. Headed by Kenny Houston, number 29.
You mentioned, Frank, that Art Toms is having a whale of a night. He blocked that field goal attempt. He intercepted that pass. And it's a long time coming to that young man. He was Al Davis's first draft choice a few years back. A lot of people have felt that it was a mistake. But he started using, John Madden started using Toms a lot more last year. And then as Carlton Oates and Tom Keating, the veterans, fell by the wayside, Art's getting his chance. And if tonight is any indication, he's vindicating that draft choice.
Here he is, Art Tom, sitting on the bench, out on the field. Darryl LaMonica is faced with a second and 12-yard situation from the 23. Play fake. Why? I don't know, but he did. This one deflected, and he really got a strong rush that time. Coming in there was big George Webster, number 90 on the blitz. LaMonica now 5 of 13. You know, a young rider disappears in a Midwestern town. Then Lieutenant Frank Dane of the Missing Persons Bureau has only a few clues to follow, but they lead him into some dangerous and unexpected places. That's in Jigsaw, one of the action drama series of The Men. Thursday at 9, 8 o'clock Central Time, and of course right here on ABC. Third down, 12 yards. The ball at the 23 of the Oakland Raiders. 6:45 remaining in the half. They lead the Houston Oilers 3-0. Putting both backs to the right. This one going out to Biletnikoff, and all over Biletnikoff is Willie Alexander. And Alexander, of course, I didn't do anything.
That ball just barely cleared the outstretched hands of George Webster. This is Alexander, 8-19. We'll see what he does. He's got his hand on the back of Biletnikoff, which is called interference by the referee there. George Webster was the guy that hit LaMonica the play before that. Webster was also the guy who was back about 15 or 20 yards deep. We'll take another look at this one and see if you can pick out the interference call. I think you can. Alexander's coming in. Watch his left arm as he kind of...
Biletnikoff played it beautifully, too. He stepped in there where Alexander would have to come through him.
Look at Webster coming out there, too. That Webster's a heck of a linebacker.
First and 10 for the Raiders, moving from their own 41. Here comes Marv Hubbard. And he's met by big Mike Tilleman, number 78. Defensive line of the Oilers, Tilleman 78, Holmes 79, Brooks 73, Bethea 65, Webster 90, Pritchard 58, 85 is Rice. They're the linebackers. Willie Alexander at one corner, number 19. Benny Johnson, the other corner, 33. Charles 25, Houston 29, the safeties.
It's an astonishing thing to see Tilleman in there. That's a young man who had a cancer malignancy a year ago, Frank.
Playing a fine game tonight. The Raiders now with second down and 5. The ball at their own 46-yard line. Here comes Hubbard. He's the workhorse. And piling over the 50 to the 49. And he runs right over the top of Pat Holmes, number 79, who does, however, manage to bring Hubbard down. Very close to the first.
Dan, do you have to wonder about the courage of a man like Tilleman in the wake of his medical history? These guys are just not numbers and helmets and face masks. Tilleman's an extraordinary person.
It was middle of the stomach or something. I was a tumor. I don't really know that much about it, Howard, but I agree with you. There for some time, they didn't have any idea. Knew something was wrong, didn't know the degree of seriousness, but all these guys are...
Well, he had 2 operations, Dandy, and the second one, by the way, fortunately, the tumor proved to be benign. But this is a young man with real ability who's just now coming back to himself physically because of that surgical history.
Out of the Big Sky Country, Montana. That's Mike Tilleman that Howard and Don were referring to, playing a fine game tonight. This on 1st and 10. Darryl LaMonica going deep. He loves to go deep. Biletnikoff is open. In and out of the hands. I believe it would have been out of bounds. Back defending, number 19, Willie Alexander.
Well, he did a good job on that. A number 6 draft choice a year ago. He's got potential.
Bump and run by Willie Alexander, Don.
Well, he was called for interference the time before for pushing. Let's see what happens this time. Biletnikoff actually has about a... He ran over him again. I don't know that they would call that since he was out of bounds, but that's...
Going for the ball, Dan.
Going for the ball. That's going for the ball.
And you saw the time remaining in the half. The Raiders out in front. George Blanda hitting in the first quarter from 46 yards out. Gave them the lead, 3-0. Here comes Marv Hubbard on the draw. There's a big opening. Hubbard running hard down to the 40, the 41-yard line. Finally stopped by number 73, Leo Brooks, and 33, Benny Johnson. NCAA college football continues this Saturday on ABC with 3 telecasts. The majority of the nation will see Texas, Oklahoma, while we'll also be telecasting Arizona, New Mexico, and Citadel, East Carolina, regionally. Check your local listings for the time of the game in your area. 3rd down, a long yard for the Oakland Raiders. Ball at the 41-yard line of the Houston Oilers. And here comes Highsmith. Don Highsmith, a flag is down, as you see. Highsmith losing perhaps a yard, perhaps 2.
I think this will be a procedure penalty, motion penalty against Oakland, and probably holding.
Holding. And that was smart at that point. Big Ron Pritchard over there helping to stop Don Highsmith.
We've got less than 5 minutes of time remaining in the first half as Oakland continues to lead by a narrow 3-0 margin. Don't forget at halftime, Giff, we've got coming up highlights of some of the top games in the NFL of yesterday, including the extraordinary conclusion of that St. Louis upset of Minnesota.
Yeah, I've got a question, Don. If you get it back that comes off the bench, he's been in there for 1 play. Do you give him the ball on 3rd and 2 the first time he's been in the game when Hubbard's been eating them alive?
Well, he probably brought that play in, Frank. It's getting to be more and more that way these days.
Peterson sends every play in, as you know, Giff.
Not a good idea, though. I agree with you, Frank.
From their own 44, following the holding penalty, LaMonica with the strong arm goes to Biletnikoff. He's short of the first down, hit hard by Willie Alexander.
And there's a flag back
it
where...
depends on where they mark this, as a matter of fact.
Flag back where LaMonica was hit, too, Frank. He could have a roughing the passer penalty back there. He took a pretty good lick to the eye. I say the eye was all over. Was it the eye or not?
He was in that area.
Yeah, he was in that area. He hit him up around the head and shoulders severely. But it might not even be that.
Dandy, did you ever feel fear when you were a quarterback?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, a reporter was interrogating you about that today, wasn't he?
He absolutely was. Let's look what this penalty is, because I thought it was roughing the passer.
Oakland, Don.
And it must be holding, I suppose, when you're back in that area. I'll tell you what, LaMonica got a hit in the head. His boys got caught for holding. That's when you have some discussions back in that thing. Say, look now, guys, if you're going to hold them good enough to keep them from hitting me.
3rd down, 31 yards to go. This is when you like to have that play come in off the bench, isn't it, Don?
Yeah.
Sandy goes out to the left. Biletnikoff is to the right. They're the 2 deep receivers. LaMonica rolling out, looking looking for a little time. Fires to Biletnikoff, who hangs on to the football short of the 50 and well short of the first down.
Hey, they're putting a lot of pressure on LaMonica tonight. I think that that Houston defensive line working that Oakland offensive line over pretty good because he's using that rolling pocket and he's still getting pressure.
Well, everyone knows Tilleman's a major leaguer if he's healthy, and we've talked about Elvin Bethea. He's a super player, that 65. Great determination. Loves to hit as much as Willie Lanier of Kansas City does.
Jerry DePoyster kicking to the lone safety, Kenny Houston, number 29. There's some kind of football player, Kenny Houston. I mentioned that another fine defensive back for the Houston Oilers would be available tonight.
Zeke
Moore, and yet we have not seen him.
I think Kenny shows me as much strength back there in the strong safety position as anyone since you came up, Giff, and played it.
Which is back at the turn of the century, as I recall. DePoyster. And he is really rushed, but somehow he got rid of that football.
He also put on a big act, Frank, but didn't get away with it.
Nobody hit him, but watch him just get this ball out of the crowd.
He's saying that, if they hit me a while ago, they got to hit me again. A high snap. He took several steps. I don't know what you call that. You see him put his foot right there, and he pushes off. And falls back down. I told you LaMonica got hit in the eye. And he's there.
That looks like the mouth, Danny.
Well, it's close. I said that area now. Look here, Darryl. Darryl, this way. Probably broke a tooth.
1st and 10. The Houston Oilers have 3:36 remaining in the half. They're moving from the 20-yard line. Here comes Willie Rogers. Willie Rogers met right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looks like a back molar there, Dandy, or else the left cheek.
That's either a back molar or it's the one right next to it, Howard. I can't see from here. It's one of those back two teeth, obviously.
He's not hurt.
No, he'll be all right. Wash it out, Darryl. You'll be okay.
Dentistry was your original choice for a professional career, wasn't it, Don, at SMU?
No.
2nd down and 9 for the Oilers. They trail 3-0. Both wide receivers coming left. Burrow, the bottom of your screen. This is Pastorini. Oh, and almost picked 48. Nehemiah Wilson almost picked the football off. Jim Byrne was the intended receiver.
Up to now, this young man is having one of those nights. Just terrible. The statistics speak for themselves. You have to feel sorry for him because he comes off such a big game against the Jets. That, of course, is the basic problem with young quarterbacks, isn't it, Giff? The achievement of consistency?
I would say so, but he was not all that good in the first half against the Jets, and he came back in the second half and was brilliant. As a matter of fact, the Houston Oilers in this season have not scored in the first quarter of play. So far, they haven't scored in the second quarter of this one. 3rd down and 9. From their own 21, Pastorini again going back. And this time he is caught. Big number 84, Tony Klein, is there, getting help from 82, Horace Jones.
I'll tell you, is that Toms that came in there again, number 80, he came across, made a big lunge. It was a crisscross move between the defensive ends and tackles, threw that offensive blocking off a little bit. Watch it again. You'll see Toms, number 80, come to this outside. It's where the real pressure comes in. He just leaps over, had a good angle. They were all in there.
After that, they were all in there, but you were quite right. It was the old tackle end game.
The old tackle end game gets them every time.
From his own end zone, Dan Pastorini to do the punting. Taken there by Atkinson. Atkinson tripped up at the 48-yard line. Getting down there quickly was number 15, Al Johnson. You know, this Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports brings you the National Championship Sprint Car Race from Terre Haute, Indiana, and the World Roller Skating Championships from Bremen, West Germany. That's this Saturday at 2 Eastern Time, 1 Central and 5 Pacific Time, and that's here on ABC.
If we just saw Atkinson slip on that AstroTurf as we break down to the 2-minute warning mark. Was that the first slip we've seen tonight? Because there's been so much complaining about this turf.
I believe so, but he did have a little help from Al Johnson. So as as Howard said, there is the 2-minute warning. And we'll be back at the Astrodome, where the Oakland Raiders lead the Houston Oilers with 2 minutes to play right after this match.
For years, musicians have tried to recreate the sound of a live performance. They improved the records, invented stereo, but nothing gave you the feeling of being there until now. Now there's discrete 4-channel sound. Introducing Series 44 from Panasonic. There are other kinds of 4-channel systems, but they don't separate sound into 4 distinct parts. A discrete system like Panasonic's does. Now a musician can put just rhythm on one speaker, French horns on another, trumpets on a third, violins on a fourth, so you feel right inside the music. Panasonic systems play 4-channel tapes and records. They also improve the sound of stereo tapes, records, and radio. Discrete 4-channel sound. Series 44 from Panasonic. Just slightly ahead of our time.
2 minutes remaining in the first half, and looking at those statistics, it's surprising that the Raiders only have 3 points on the scoreboard. That coming from a 46-yard field goal by George Blanda in the first quarter. But that's all it is. They lead the Oilers 3-0, and here's a young man who's had a lot of problems tonight, Dan Pastorini. He obviously is unhappy with it, Don.
Consistency, Frank, is the thing any quarterback tries to achieve, and when you're starting out and you come off of a good game, you know, last week they beat the Jets, and maybe he didn't have a good statistical game.
Oakland now with the football. They move on Houston's 48-yard line. Biletnikoff is right. And here comes Marv Hubbard. And Ron Pritchard slows up Hubbard, and he's dropped at the line of scrimmage by Mike Tilleman, number 78, who is really playing a game tonight. Tilleman, Holmes, Brooks, Lethea, that front four of the Houston Oilers. And while they have not battled evenly statistically with the Raiders, they still only trail by 3. 1:34, the clock moving, remains in the first half. Tilleman, 4 tackles individually and 4 assists. The ball resting just at the 45-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Second down, 8. Now we're going to change the football.
Pro football is not what it used to be, and it never was.
Well, that's a brilliant statement.
I can't decode that one.
Well, think about it.
Well, it sounds like one of Billy Clyde Puckett's.
No.
Well, Monica obviously upset about
he's worked up.
I guess,
as I said,
the only thing I can say is that maybe one of the Oilers said change the football. I don't know. He's going to come over and talk to head coach John Madden. And they have just clicked a timeout off on the scoreboard. So I guess Darrell wanted to stop the clock. But he was really upset about something, and I have the slightest idea over what.
Sun was in his eye.
So the Raiders now have 2 timeouts. The Oilers have 3. 1 minute and 18 seconds remaining in the half. The ball at the 45. About 7 or 8 yards away from the toe of George Blanda for another possible field goal. Second down and 8. Monica draws a crowd, and he'll go down. Elvin Bethea finally drops LaMonica, but Leo Brooks was in there, Mike Tilleman, Pat Holmes, they were all there.
Well, maybe Houston can be happy with staying close thus far, but they can't be happy with Pastorini tonight, and they know they've got to draft some running backs in the next draft coming up and start rebuilding that phase of that team, while Oakland can't possibly be happy about the first half performance it's put on here. Overall, one would have to say this game has been rather dull, Andy.
Third down and 17. The ball at the 46-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Both wide receivers going right. Monica going for Charlie Smith. He overthrows. Back defending number 85, Floyd Rice. So out of field goal range, Jerry DePoyster will come on to punt for the Oakland Raiders. Clock showing 44 seconds. Here's Jerry DePoyster, who will kick to the single safety, Ken Houston. Again, a strong rush off the side of the foot. Well, that takes some guts right there. He had a crowd of Raiders on him. And he loses yardage back to the 13-yard line. So Houston comes onto the field. Dan Pastorini. It's going to be interesting to see what Pastorini will try and do with 33 seconds remaining. I have a hunch he's been advised by his coach, Bill Peterson. Just be careful with it. Don't give it up. A young man from Santa Clara. And this is what he did not want to do. Phil Villapiano picks it off. And he's out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Oakland will call timeout. Somebody indicated a timeout. They don't have to. 9 seconds show on the scoreboard.
I don't understand, Frank.
No, I don't either. It's an imponderable mistake. There's Burrow going down the sideline, completely open, but no matter. The ball thrown into a crowd of white shirts at just an inexplicable time. 9 seconds left to go in the first half. Hardly reflective of professional football at its best level.
And Earl LaMonica obviously is going to throw the ball because he doesn't have time to run the ball and perhaps get the field goal. Going for Biletnikoff, who's open.
He got
Touchdown. Fred Biletnikoff getting behind number 19, Willie Alexander.
Oh, boy.
Talk about a giveaway at 7 points.
Well, we can look back and see a lot of those things, but Biletnikoff just takes off. He gets right behind Alexander. It's a perfectly thrown ball by LaMonica, incidentally.
Boy, that's where bump and run hurts if you don't know how to handle it.
Look at that Biletnikoff. He's been in the end zone before. Saw him gather himself, get those feet together. Score 6. That was a necessary touchdown for Oakland to get there.
George Blanda with the conversion. So the Oakland Raiders, with a gift from the Houston Oilers, in effect, move out in front 10-0. Some wild games around the league yesterday, and of course we'll be looking at those at halftime, as is our custom. The New York Giants with a big victory, running up a lot of points against the New Orleans Saints. You don't mind if I say that, Howard?
I don't mind that at all, Giff. I'm looking forward to next week.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't like what I see here tonight. Next week, we've got Green Bay at 3-1 against Detroit at 3-1. Two of the teams in the black and blue division tied for the lead, where astonishing things have been happening, and I want to see for myself Brockington and MacArthur Lane and Scott Hunter and the rebirth of the pack, and I want to see for myself the Detroit team that we watched yesterday pull out that victory over a very strong Atlanta team.
I'm with you, Howard.
All the way.
Yeah.
Let's get loose. Liven it up.
Good. Can you believe that? That is not true. That didn't happen. Oh, come on, fella.
We have seen just about everything. That gun has sounded.
Let's hurry up, get those highlights.
And the locals don't like the call. Both teams leaving the field. That's the end of the first half. And as you see, the Oakland Raiders, with that bonus touchdown, stretching their lead to 10-0. Oakland Raiders 10, the Houston Oilers nothing. And Again, highlights of yesterday's game coming up in just a moment.
Back in '63, a team of specially equipped Mercury Comets set durability records that have yet to be equaled. 100,000 miles at 100 miles an hour at Daytona. Today, we build a new kind of Mercury Comet, smaller by almost a foot, priced right down with the little imports. But we still build Comet to be tough. Tough enough to take the punishment of a rugged test track. Built from the same gauge, high-quality steel as our biggest Mercuries. Welded firmly into a solid unibody suit of armor. Reinforced with sturdy steel beams. Mercury Comet. It's one tough little car with a family tradition for durability that goes back to 100,000 miles. 1973 Mercury Comet. Built better to last longer. At the sign of the cat.
Don Rickles guest stars with Julie Andrews Wednesday night.
We're back live at the Houston Astrodome. Halftime score, as you can see, the Oakland Raiders 10, the Houston Oilers nothing. The action was sparse throughout the first half. The game was laggardly played. This is the way the scoring, such as it was, went. Oakland got a field goal, 46-yarder from the ageless one, George Blandon, in the first quarter. That was the only scoring. Indeed, that was the only scoring until there were but 4 seconds remaining in the half. Because with 9 seconds remaining, inexplicably, Dan Pastorini essayed a pass from deep in his own territory, which was promptly picked off by Phil Villapiano, a second-year linebacker from Bowling Green, who did so well as a rookie. And that set up a quick LaMonica to Biletnikoff 16-yard touchdown pass. Oakland 10, Houston nothing. Now to our weekly halftime highlights of yesterday's games, prepared in conjunction with NFL Films. Right to it. Balloons go up in the air. The atmosphere is festive at Atlanta Stadium. This is first half action. Only minutes remaining. The handoff to Alty Taylor of the Lions, number 42. The Lions leading 6-3 at this point. And Alty running wide right, as you saw, and then cutting back in brilliantly. Picks up 32 yards. This is the very next play. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first half. The score, as I said, 6-3. And Steve Owens, number 36, former Heisman Trophy winner from Oklahoma, moves out wide and goes in for the tally. Detroit leads 13-3. Now we're early in the third quarter, and they're struggling. Atlanta is to fight back. Bob Berry has just handed off to Art Malone, who's become an outstanding running back in the National Football Conference. He moves in for the touchdown. It's 13-10. Now, after that kickoff, this is the first play after the Atlanta kickoff, and Greg Landry drops back and throws, as you see, to Ron Jesse, number 89. Jesse moves all the way downfield. It's an 82-yard play, touchdown. Detroit 20, Atlanta 10. Now we're in the second play of the fourth quarter. That's Bob Berry, the Atlanta quarterback, throwing to and hitting Art Malone. Touchdown. At this moment, it's the Lions 20, the Falcons 17. The Falcons come back with a field goal. It's 20-20. And now is Bill Bell again for Atlanta, kicking a field goal that's good. This time it's 23-20 Atlanta with only 2:52 left in the game. Quickly, Greg Landry strikes back. Downfield to his back, Alty Taylor, number 42 again. Taylor and Steve Owens have combined to give Detroit one of the best 1-2 running punches in the National Football League. We now have just 47 seconds left in the game. Landry attempts to hit Ron Jesse, again, number 89. Pass is incomplete, but the flag goes down. An interference penalty called, and so Detroit has the ball on the Atlanta 3-yard line. Now we have just 39 seconds left. Again, the handoff to number 36, Steve Owens. This time he goes around the right side, sheds the tacklers, as you see. He's in for the touchdown, no matter that the extra point was blocked. The Lions beat the Falcons 26-23. Lambeau Stadium. The Chicago Bears going against the reborn Green Bay Packers because they've been playing great football. And there you see a fumble after a Bobby Douglas handoff. The ball is picked up by Clarence Williams. He dashes 21 yards into the end zone. Quickly, the Pack leads 7-0. This action, of course, in the first quarter. Now we're in the second quarter, and it's 7-3 Packers. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the half. Number 16, Scott Hunter, the heir successor to Bart Starr, the youngster from Alabama, throwing deep downfield, intended for Dave Davis. But watch this. The ball deflected by Joe Taylor of the Bears, and then Johnny Staggers, the former Missourian, who played his college ball for Dan Devine, now his pro coach, gets the ball while in the air, carries it in for the score, and the Pack leads the Bears 14-3. Now we're early in the fourth quarter. The Pack is leading 17-10. Bobby Douglas, the southpaw quarterback, whom some say should be a running back, not a quarterback, throws a 46-yard pass, in effect, to George Farmer as he storms downfield after the reception. Chicago Bears can fool you, even though they're still winless. This is 4 plays later. It's 4th and 2 from the 2. And watch Bobby Douglas scrambling in. And suddenly, the Chicago Bears have tied the Pack at 17-17. This Packer team, as I said, is a different team this year. We've now got 34 seconds left in the game, and this is their new place kicker, Markle, the youngster from Hillsdale. And it's good. And the Pack beats the Bears 20-17. And next week, the Pack at 3-1 against the Detroit Lions at 3-1 on Monday Night Football. Well, somebody caused the Minnesota Vikings to be snake bit. We've got 1:43 seconds left in the game. The Vikings ahead of the Cardinals 17-12, and that's Gary Quazzo, the former Viking quarterback, hitting the rookie from Oregon, Bobby Moore. Touchdown, and suddenly the St. Louis Cardinals lead 19-17. Now we've got 4 seconds, as you can see, left in the game. And Minnesota is setting up for a field. Fred Cox, it's a chippy shot, 26 yards out. But look, he misses. The ball hits the upright, and so it's 19-17 St. Louis. Let's look at it again in slow motion. The snap. The approach by Freddie Cox. The boot. Now watch closely. Defensive back Roger Whaley apparently climbing up his teammate Rose back. Apparently touches the football. And indeed, the trajectory of the ball seems to have changed in flight. The ball hits the goalpost. And astonishingly, the powerhouse Purple People Eaters have lost 3 of their first 4 games of the season.
Save your money at a savings and loan. Your money does more than just grow. A savings and loan lends out money for homes, and that helps communities grow. We're doing all on for America, and we want to build more.
Hey, Grady!
Hey, look who's here.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Well, if it isn't Francis Tarkin. Yeah, the man who can't stay in the pocket. I think he's put on a little weight. Let's see if he still has his arm. Come on, Frank, throw me one.
Hey, let's show him a little defense.
Hey, let's show him a little defense. Get him, Jim.
Jim, I'm on you.
If you find yourself scrambling around as much as Fran Tarkington, you really ought to know about the shirt he's wearing. The knitted sports shirt from Arrow. It gives a man total freedom of movement. The supple knit fabric stretches as you stretch. Moves as you move. Doesn't bind. Stays smooth. And even if it gets roughed up a little, you still wind up looking pretty terrific. The sport knit from Arrow. We call it the Scrambler. If it takes Fran Tarkington scrambling, it'll take yours.
Shea Stadium, New York City. Key game, American Football Conference. Still unbeaten Miami against the presumably challenging Jets. This is action in the second quarter. The Jets leading 7-0. Bob Greasy dropping back, hitting Howard Twilley, number 81, who's all alone. Quickly, the score is tied at 7-7. We move to action later in the second quarter. Once again, Greasy has marched his team downfield. Now the handoff to number 21, Jimmy Kick. He's in, 6 yards in the touchdown. Miami 14, the Jets 7. Let's go to the third quarter. Miami's now leading 17-7. Joe Willie Namath trying to rally his forces. Back in the pocket, throwing deep downfield to the number 1 draft choice from Jackson State, Jerry Barkham. Wearing number 83, the number that George Sauer Jr. used to wear. No, Miami did not get it. The pass completed, a 52-yard gain. That led to a Bobby Howfield field goal, 17-7. 17-10, rather. Now we move to the very end of the game, early in the fourth quarter. Emerson Boozer scores to make it 24-17. Later, Miami a field goal. That's it. This is Norm Snead, apparently reborn after years of failure, years of hope but no success at Yankee Stadium against the helpless New Orleans Saints. We're midway in the first quarter. And that's Snead dropping back. What a passing percentage he's got this year. Touchdown pass to the back from Southern California, Charlie Evans. 7-0 Giants. Well, late in the first quarter, it's 10-0 Giants. The handoff to Charlie Evans, number 31, who scored 3 times this day. He's in for the touchdown, and they're piling it up. 17-0 Giants over New Orleans. Now we're late in the second quarter. It's 24-0 at this point. I told you about Charlie Evans. Here he is again. 8 yards in. Touchdown. The Giants leading 31-0. They haven't had a day like this in years. We're just 3 plays later. 15 seconds left in the half. Archie Manning out of Ole Miss. Number 8, scrambling the way he used to in college. Looking deep downfield. Throwing. To number 83, Dave Parks, once the leading pass receiver in the National Football League. That was back in '66, and New Orleans is on the scoreboard. It's 31-7 Giants at halftime. Now we're in the third quarter. Norm Snead again. A 14-yard touchdown pass. You will see it to Don Herman, the youngster from Waynesburg. And so the Giants are ahead, 38-7. Scan excitement here. We are late in the third quarter, or at least moving to it. And they're finally playing Bob Grimm, acquired from the Vikings in the Tarkenton trade. Snead to Bob Grimm. Hits him. Touchdown. 45-7. Well, not a good day for the New Orleans Saints, to put it in the form of understatement. Here you see Manning dropping back. Manning finally hitting Danny Abramowitz, and so New Orleans scores. That made it 45-14. It wound up 45-21, no contest.
That was yesterday, and this is tonight. The Oakland Raiders leading the Houston Oilers 10-0. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Oakland Raiders versus the Houston Oilers, is being brought to you by Mercury. Cars that are built better to ride better. Mercury at the sign of the cat. And by Sears Tire and Auto Centers, where you'll find die-hard batteries and a complete line of quality tires. And we'll be ready for the second half kickoff between the Raiders and the Oilers after this word from our local stations.